In this video, Dr. Steenbarger, the best trading coach in the US, shares the key to making real progress as a trader. Hi, I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder of S&B Capital, a proprietary trading firm located in New York City, and the author of the trading classic, One Good Trade in the Playbook. Founded in 2005, S&B Capital trades stocks and options and futures and crypto, both as discretionary and automated traders. S&B is so fortunate to work with Dr. Steenbarger, who helps and inspires our traders to grow. We hope you enjoy the special treat for the trading community of Dr. Steenbarger sharing his trading wisdom with all of us.
Idea number one is what is known in psychology as deliberate practice. It's a process where we perform, we make mistakes, we do certain things well, we review our performance, and then we adjust our performance going forward. So we set some goals. Okay, so I did these things well, these things I didn't do so well, so I'm going to try to do these things better. So we adjust our performance going forward, and then we track that performance, and we see what we did well, and we see what we didn't do well, and it becomes an ongoing process of always setting goals, always looking at where we could do better, always making those adjustments.
One quick question that has come up a lot on our desk as we're talking about goal setting. You know, it's very easy to set a lot of goals. In trading, we all have a lot of goals that we want to achieve, things that we need to work on. From your perspective and from a developmental perspective, is it better to focus on one, or is it better to, one goal at a time, have that be your main goal? There are probably always some sub-goals within that or sub-steps that you're working on. But has that been something that has led to more?
It's a great question.
Over time?
It's a great question, and there is research on this topic. James Clear, C-L-E-A-R, some of you might be familiar with his website. He's also written some good books, but he has commented on this issue as well. What the research tells you in psychology, and it's definite, is that fewer goals that you work on harder are much better.
If you want to learn 3 more real-world setups that our traders use, including the simple setup that we teach all of our new traders, and the setup that turned one of our traders into a 7-figure big money earner, check out the free webinar that we're currently running. Just go ahead and click the link that should be appearing now at the top right-hand corner of your screen. That will open up the free registration page in a new window, so don't worry, you won't lose this video. You can also visit tradingworkshop.com to register for this free intensive workshop. You're going to learn more in a couple of hours from this trading workshop than from years of online education.
So like if you have a laundry list of 20 different goals, that's like New Year's, Well, I'm going to be a better husband. I'm going to be, going to church every week. I'm going to do this. And then comes the next week, and we fall short of all those resolutions. You want few goals that you can work on in a very hands-on way. So one of your goals might be better execution of your ideas. All right, so what does that consist of? All right, it means I have to look at the tape differently. I have to look at price action differently. Here's a rule that I will use for execution. Let's see how that goes. So it's important to have few goals that you really focus on. But the key here to make it deliberate practice is that every goal has to have a plan. The saying is, a goal without a plan is a good intention. Okay? You want more than good intentions. It has to become a plan that you actively work on, then gauge your performance, then you improve, rinse and repeat. That's deliberate practice.
And within that, can you talk a little bit about the psychology of saying no and that's a big part of this. If you're going to focus on a couple specific things, you have to shelve all the other potential things you could say you're going to work on right now.
Right. I would call it prioritizing.
Right.
Yeah. So the sport I played in school is basketball. You could tell by my towering height. But you would work on one thing at a time, and if coach wanted you working on prevent defense kind of ball you man, standing in between the ball and the player you're defending and moving quickly to prevent that player from getting the ball, so you're not going to be working on your outside jumper during that time, right? So it's not that you put away the goal, but you work intensively on one, then you get to the next, you're prioritizing.
Within that, could you talk a little bit about, we've talked about the market structures and the dynamics of shifting market structures. So how would you recommend, or what's an idea that you could use in, okay, this is the market structure we're seeing right now. Here's how I can work on my trading within that market structure. When we change to a different market structure, I'll work on my trading within that. If you could help us understand a little bit about how to evaluate market structure so that you can formulate effective ideas, but then also how to work on things within each market structure.
Yeah, so that's one of the big challenges. That's a great question. One of the big challenges, obviously, in learning markets is that markets are ever changing. They change in their trending behavior. Sometimes they trend, sometimes they trade in a range. They change in their volatility. Some quiet markets, some really noisy, busy markets. And they change in terms of their correlations. In other words, market instruments will be correlated with each other at one period of time, not so correlated at another period of time. And so, in a sense, we're not really learning the market. We are learning different market regimes, different market conditions. So the environment we're in right now, where we have a good amount of volatility, is extremely different from 2019, let's say, leading up to the 2020 COVID top, where we had low volatility and trending, kind of grinding higher, trending behavior. So you have to use Mike's phrase, you have to playbook, you have to study patterns in each different market and factor that into your decision making, factor that into your deliberate practice. What it means in actuality is that you don't practice it, and then master it for all time. What happens in reality is you practice the current markets, you get good, the markets change, you go back to practicing, and you figure out what works in those markets, you go back to practicing. So it's more of a spiral. You are progressing, you are moving higher, but you're always relearning markets. It's common, and this is one of the big problems for retail traders, they will figure something out in a market, and as soon as the market changes, they don't know what to do, and they don't have a real structure for doing that deliberate practice. And this is where keeping a journal is really helpful, keeping records so you can actually see what you did well, see what needs improvement, keeping statistics on the trading like we do through the use of TraderView. How many winning trades did you have, how many losing trades, what was the average size of the winning trades, average size of the losing trades. You learn a ton about what you do well by just sorting out those statistics. For instance, if you made lots of money and had lots of good trades on the long side, but not on the short side, or with this pattern, but not with that pattern. All of that is information you feed into the deliberate practice. Okay? So that's the first big idea, is how are you practicing and how fast are you turning that wheel to perform, review, set goals, make plans, perform again, review. How fast is that wheel turning?
Hey, go ahead and click our subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos that we're producing for you in the trading community. And please take the time to add your feedback in the comment section for what videos you'd like for us to produce next and what you found helpful from this video. From all of us at S&B, train and trade well.